Hello everyone, welcome. This is Kasayo Farm. So I've always been wondering, recently or not recent, let me just say recently, there have been some additions in the feed when it comes to the layers. At first, we go with the broiler, or we go with the starter feed or the chick mash. You go with it for a period to about 8, some of them go 6 weeks. Then you switch from that period to grower. And most of the time, we know that from the grower to the time the birds start laying, that's the normal thing. I understand the industry is growing. There's lots and lots of research being made to make poultry farming very simple for everyone. There are new people who are into the business who have been able to understand it more than those who were in for years. It's very good, it's very perfect. But there are some things which I want to say. That's when you start transitioning from your starter feed or your chick mash or your broiler starter for your layers. You see people start, you go for after your grower, and you go for developer before you go for pre-layer, before you now go for your layers feed. Well, in our situation, we've used from broiler starter or chick mash or chick starter till 8 weeks or 6 weeks. Most of the time it's 8 weeks. So 8 weeks, and from 8 weeks to the time the birds start to lay, they will be on grower mash until we have 10 to 15% production. Then we just switch straight to layer feed. We don't do developer, we don't do pre-layer, and we still have good results. The birds also lay on time. The same, if it's the 16 weeks, they lay on their 16 weeks. If it's the 18 weeks, they start laying around their 18 weeks. And the production just goes as what people normally do when they give the developer and then the pre-layer. Well, there's an amount of protein content in which it makes their muscles become a little bit big and open their vents a little bit for their first egg to come without them suffering. Yes, I understand this is how the developer normally works, and normally the period is just, sometimes the maximum is 2 weeks. Most of the time you are supposed to give the birds this developer for just this 1 week period. And the pre-layer, most of the time the pre-layer, there's an additional calcium content in it, which is going to help the birds develop its bones very well, to prepare it, and also aid it or give it enough calcium to be able for the bird to be able to lay that egg. Normally make their own feed. Normally they just transition straight from grower to layer. They don't go this pre-layer and then this developer. However, this is good though, but for me, I have not practiced it, and then I've still used the grower like the old ways, and the birds are still doing well. Maybe I think this developer, this pre-layer is required, or is good for certain breeds of birds. I think maybe that's how most of the time Isa brown layers, they normally have to go through this developer and then this pre-layer. And I'm saying, however, if you even want to go through this, I would advise you just rather do the pre-layer, in which there is more calcium content in. So with me, what I don't really understand is for the developer. For the pre-layer, you can use it, it's good because they are about to start laying. But for the developer, I believe the birds are supposed to pass through their natural behavior. I see it to be some forcing. I know it's aid them opening their veins and expanding the body a little bit for maybe bigger egg to start coming very fast. But I believe we should still go with a normal grower to maybe pre-layer, and then from the pre-layer to the layer feed. Always, this is just about 2 weeks intervals. These are just 2 weeks in which the birds are going to consume that type of feed. So mostly I I wouldn't say don't use it. You can use it, fine. But in my situation, I see it to be money wasted, all right? Because I use the grower feed and helps. We use the grower feed and helps. You understand? We still use the grower feed and we still get that production requirement we want at a certain week that the birds are supposed to reach when they start laying. So I'm not discouraging anyone from using. You can use it. Well, I've seen it's giving good results, but it's not by force. That's what I want to put it. It's not really force for you to use that. There are some of the farmers, even Mr. Ababio, the gentle farmer, even last commented on what is the use of the developer feed. You know, these people have been in the industry for long. They are also learning. It's not that they are not learning. They are still sitting back and then using the old ways. They are learning and improving on how you will be very successful in this poultry industry. So most of the times, this developer, I don't really go for this developer. When you transition from your grower, your starter feed from 8 weeks old, and you are starting with your grower, then you give the grower till maybe, if your birds are laying, if they start laying around 16 weeks, then that means you start giving your pre-layer around the 15th week. You see, yeah, 15th week. When you get about 5% lay, then you now switch to the layers feed, and that layer feed will take you till the birds have reached the point in which their production come down. Then there are some feeds they call layer 2, in which the protein content again is a little bit high to aid them in the egg production, because by then they've declined in egg production. The formation of the eggs in their system have declined, so you need some feed to be able to boost it. So this video is not discouraging people from using the developer or the pre-layer. I'm saying for myself, yes, for what we use and helps us, we don't use developer, because people used to say, I'm supposed to use a developer. We know I help people in their farm, I help people doing their feed transition, new farmers and things. So they'll be like, no, and even in our chat, it doesn't state developer over there. They are not supposed to be giving developer. You see, our chat says we should go pre-layer, but we don't use pre-layer. But like I said, I've given how you are going to, you can be able to formulate the pre-layer if you don't want to go and buy the other pre-layer. If you don't want any stress, you just buy a layer feed and then you do it 4:1 respectively, 4 grower and then 1 layer feed will be very good for you to be able to get a pre-layer. All right, so that is it in today's video. Hope this made sense to new farmers, made sense to those who are even inside and then don't really understand. So this is how the feeding system nowadays is. Follow for more. See you in the next video. Bye bye.